So I will invite now Mr. Dr. Nazir Gillani.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm grateful that you have assembled us together here to discuss a very important issue, and thank you very much for your elaborate prelude. Colleagues, we are here. I have been returning to these rooms from 90s. I should say I came first to this room I was invited by the United Nations when we reported the first killing in Kashmir between the January of 8th and 9th, 90. We were here in June 1990. So I think it has been a life that we have spent over here, and I see colleagues whose wisdom has been source of inspiration to me. Let me ask you a basic fundamental question. There are two positions. One is confrontational, one is critical engagement. We are here to engage each other, not to confront each other. And with this, I would also request my friends, those friends who do make use of their cameras for one reason or the other, noble or the ignoble, kindly do send us a copy of those photographs if you have our emails. Retaining the ownership of those photographs and transmitting them to respective quarters, that's fine. But you owe a moral obligation to use it correctly and appropriately. My interest in Azad Kashmir is that I'm a state subject. I don't know how many state subjects here are. And Azad Kashmir is distributed in geography and in population. We Kashmiris are distributed as people across the line, on this line, and in Gilgit and Baltistan as well. So we regard ourselves as state subjects. Why has Mumtaz Khan floated this important issue, flawed and controlled elections? And why have we made it a point to come and to address and to handle it, manage it within our own capabilities? There might come a time when those who represent Kashmir over here, we might be forced to challenge them within the juridical definition of United Nations. Most of Kashmiris who come here may be rendered obsolete and redundant by the very procedure of the United Nations. We'll work on that gradually. So this is my first signal to friends, that those of you who travel here, make sure that this institution of United Nations has a relationship with Azad Kashmir and all parts of Kashmir. We are concerned with Azad Kashmir because the government of Azad Kashmir has its legitimacy embedded in UNCIP resolutions. The Azad Kashmir Constitution says that we constitute this government to work in accordance with the UNCIP wisdom. Now the fundamental question is that wisdom being translated anywhere, in any manner in Azad Kashmir or not? What was the role that Azad government has taken upon to conduct in accordance with UNCIP? If it's not doing that, then it is in violation of right of self-determination and in violation of the Constitution. So this is for the government, with the government of Pakistan or with the government of India. But we have definitely a grievance with the government of Pakistan, but there are institutional controls in Azad Kashmir which need to be untied. The people of Azad Kashmir still live pre-1947 life, because the democratic rights in Azad Kashmir are not in the manner in which they are in the Jammu and Kashmir. I will quote you one example because we have two distinguished guests from Valley. I, as a lawyer, feel J&K Assembly is much more freer, much more democratic than the Assembly of Azad Jammu and Kashmir. And my citation would be, it's not theoretical. I will give you an example. Day before yesterday, a member of J&K Legislative Assembly moved a bill in the Assembly of Kashmir that we need to delete Article 3 and 5 from the Constitution of J&K. Can you believe it? Article 3 means that accession with India. Can a member in AJK Assembly bring a bill that we need to do away with the constitutional restraints which does not allow people to take part if they do not express their belief in accession to Pakistan? What happens to that bill is a separate issue. But there is a member in the legislature in the valley who brought a bill asking the Assembly to delete Article 3 and 5. Article 3 and 5 means to delink Kashmir from India, whether he succeeds or not. But there is an opportunity to express himself in the legislature of Kashmir. Rathore Sahib did express it. He was picked up, bundled in the helicopter, brought to Islamabad and made to resign. He simply had asked that, could you kindly give us the compensation that has been accrued through the use of Mangla? They said, okay, we will compensate you, but you will have to be in the helicopter, you will have to travel to Islamabad, and that's what happens. Those of us from Kashmir in Valley who want to become chachas and tayas in representing Pakistan or represent India, I would tell them two things. This panel has no conflict with Pakistan if they respect Article 257 of the Constitution of Pakistan. Because that is the political wisdom, constitutional wisdom, which has been handed over to us, to the people of Kashmir, that this would be your relation with us. If they respect 257, we respect them in return. But if they violate their own constitution, we have every right to point out to them that here is the departing point. Then there is another relationship that each one of us has with Pakistan. That's Article 5. Under Article 5, each one of us has to, whether he is a resident of Pakistan or a national of Pakistan, you have to be obedient to the constitution and rule of law in Pakistan. So it's having made these things clear that Pakistan has failed to respect Article 257, it has failed to respect the Constitution of Azad Kashmir, which obligates it to work for the right of self-determination with the consent of the people of Azad Kashmir and the people of other parts of Kashmir. So the government of Azad Kashmir has taken upon to represent J&K as well, Gilgit and Baltistan as well. Now coming to the de jure position of elections, I accept the proposition that these are flawed and controlled elections because they are corrupt elections. They are engineered elections because first and foremost, you have 49 members in the assembly. 41 are elected, 12 of them are refugees. You have never a good refugee who goes to assembly for the last 60 years. It has become a corrupt institution. Islamabad is using those 12 seats to control AJK and to disturb the local political authority as well. So anyone who controls these 12 seats in the AJK assembly can control the government in Azad Kashmir. So that's why the locals in Azad Kashmir say that these 12 seats given to the people who represent the valley and other parts of Kashmir, it has turned into a to our interests. And these 12 seats, you can see, you name them because you don't need to vote for them. They come automatically and they sit in the assembly, the 12 people. Department of Government in Pakistan, if they know these 12 people, they go into assembly, and that's how it is. And then they frustrate the legislative will of the people. Then I will give you a breakdown. You have 5 women. They are co-opted. So these 5 women are not from the common masses. It's again a corrupt means to induct 5 more numericals in the assembly. 12 plus 5 means 17. Then you have one ulama, meaning a religious scholar. You can name anybody. You can tag Mumtaz Khan as a religious scholar and he will be sitting. And so you have 12 plus 5 plus 1 means 16. Then you have one technocrat. Anybody you like can be named as a technocrat. 18. Then you have one for overseas. You have to fill your briefcase with pounds and go to Islamabad and you will be an overseas member. So that means you have 19 people out of this whole lot.
21.
20, yes. So this is a corrupt lot. So if Pakistan sits on this pile of corruption, we have every right to expose this corruption, not here, in Gilgit and Srinagar as well. But we will be doing it, I will be doing a report on this for the United Nations. We will say Pakistan has violated the trust obligations in Azad Kashmir. They are not respecting the obligations that they have taken upon in Azad Kashmir. And the other thing is, the Constitution of Azad Kashmir under Section 11 empowers the President to do work for self-determination. I argued the case for 7 years. We won it. We told the President, you have the authority to take on self-determination. But those who are sitting here from Kashmir, they have a moral obligation, a higher burden of responsibility to challenge them. If the President of Azad Kashmir is not discharging his obligation under the Constitution for self-determination, what can Wani Sahib do or Ishtiyaq Sahib do? They are small satellites, small birds to be flown here and there. But you do not allow the Constitution to work in Azad Kashmir for self-determination. So if you are dishonest to your own Constitution, as President of Azad Kashmir, as a state subject, how can these people, because they are not locals, they are refugees, they are one way or the other dependent on circumstances. Circumstances can turn hostile for them. They may be grounded tomorrow. Faisal has been grounded. He has disappeared in the thin air. We have taken up his case. And the people he used to share the platforms with have distanced away. I will tell you that even people have deleted his name from the Facebook. I still remain in touch with him, I think, some of us, not myself alone, but there are a group of people. We have taken, I think it's NGO 21, there's a reference to 5. I have said, I disagree with the manner in which he has advocated the right of self-determination, and I disagree with his understanding of the jurisprudence, but I will defend him as a state subject to the last letter. You have seen, Mirwais was here, he spoke about hell and heaven. He did not utter a single word for 5. You can see, because I'm grateful, and because I would not take much time, but I want to send a signal to Islamabad that you are not colonial power. We know how powerful you are. It's not like Altaf was saying, ISI plus army plus NQM is a superpower, or Hurriyat plus ISI is a superpower. No. It is our generosity and patience that we are tolerating you coming again and again and visiting this building. You are prejudicing the interests of the people of Kashmir. You say about mass graves, you sell the mass graves, because the graves are there for the last 5 years. I was there in Brussels, Shaukat was in Brussels, we supported that move, we raised it, but we did not sell the mechanics of the graves. We represent the people, those who live, we do not, and also those who have died in the cause. So my question is, if Wani Sahib and Ishtiyaq does not have the moral courage to return and ask the President of Azad Kashmir that you are sending me to Geneva, fine, I am advocating the cause of self-determination. What have you done under Section 11 from 1974? It is there from 1958, this section. You are coming here telling us conflict, children of conflict. Your children are safe. Which children are you talking about? Your children are in America, in Brussels, in the rest of the world, and you are crying, shedding crocodile tears for people who are suffering every day. My position on the death in Kashmir is very clear. I hold Indian soldier criminally responsible for the death in Kashmir. And I equally hold that Kashmiri who took up a gun and killed a Kashmiri criminally responsible. And those Kashmiris who represent them here and misrepresent and misinform us. So, friends, those Kashmiris who return from Islamabad, from London, they are not doing any service to the people of Kashmir or to the cause of Kashmir. They can only do it if they set the house right in Muzaffarabad. Ask the government of Muzaffarabad to discharge its obligations according to UNHRC resolutions. So, if you respect UN, then respect the UN principles of elections. There should be free transfer of will. That is the basis of governance. Is there a free transfer of will in Azad Kashmir? No, I say no. I know a friend of mine, his wife lost election. But the public vote went against her. But the public vote did not have any meaning because she was brought in and she was co-opted. So what is the use of an election? If you lose election, Sardar Atiq's son is going, he lost the election, but now they have decided to bring him back. So if the people reject you, respect the first version of the people. Now People's Party says, no, we want to be gracious, we want him to be bad, so we will not put up a candidate against him. So it is called corruption. The people you want to bring into the assembly, you have a means to bring them. So my position on elections in Azad Kashmir is very clear, and that is that the elections in Azad Kashmir are flawed, I agree. They are manipulated and controlled. Now, the people of Kashmir, welcome Dr. Punjabi. So, we have an old friend returning back to us. There are three positions. The position is that how long are we going to act as reflexes? Because this body, you may have dollars here, but we will not count your dollars or who puts those dollars in your pocket. We will judge you in the manner you address the session, in the manner you agitate an agenda item, in the manner you advocate the cause of the common man. If you remain on the right side of the people, we are with you. But if you remain on the side of the authorities who all the time suppress people, we will then, if not today, tomorrow, be at least politely forced to say, for God's sake, do some justice, delve deep into the recesses of your conscience and start behaving as Kashmiris. There was a time when Dr. Punjabi would be here as a sufferer. We would be bombarded with a sentence, you do not know the realities, ground realities. The ground realities is that this Hurriyat man was convener once. After some time, he decided to go back to Kashmir and start his business again. This militant at one point told me, no, to undo the occupation, use of force is fine. I said, yes, it is legitimate. You can undo occupation by the use of force. The same militant is today ambassador of peace. He says, no, now gun is obsolete, irrelevant. But the question is, you killed a generation and you killed self-determination with it. Who will account for that? So, things will be now becoming more transparent. International situation has changed, and Azad Kashmir is a very, very important part of Kashmir, and it is not controlled the way J&K is controlled. But at least in J&K, people have the courage and the decency to challenge the constitutional restraints. I was surprised to see that there is a person who came up and said, no, we should delete section 3 and 5 from the constitution of J&K. It went through first, but now it has been blocked. But at least he has agitated an issue. He has sent a signal to Indians that create a political space. If we are an integral part of India, then how would we negotiate? He has a point. He has a legal point. Because Article 3 says Kashmir is an integral part of India. A Kashmiri sitting in Srinagar says, no, we will delete it from the constitution. But a Kashmiri in Azad Kashmir under Section 11 does not want to work for self-determination because he doesn't want to. How much time? Okay. So now the question is very simple. Will you, in a world which is global world, what happens in Washington is very easily transparent and visible to a person in Srinagar. What happens in London, we know about it. But what we need to do now, those of us from Kashmir, I invite you from the platform JKCHR that let us compile a report of those who are Columbuses of Kashmir, those who discovered Kashmir in 94, 95, 96. And what did they gain after that? And what did the community gain? We will have a report, what did the gun give us? Did it give us death of a generation, or we have moved a step further? Has Hurriyat remained honorably true to its constitution that it adopted on 31st of July 1993, or they have gone away from that and taken on the religious and the political faith of Musharraf? So these are the things that we need to agitate, and I will end up with this thing that there is a desperate need that we should revisit the constitution of Azad Kashmir. We should revisit the manner in which it is saying something, but de facto situation is different. De jure, it is very good constitution, but it does not allow even the president of Azad Kashmir to work on self-determination. So if you don't allow the president of Azad Kashmir, how would Mir Wais advocate self-determination? He does not have any constitutional sanction. You are misleading Mir Wais. You are using him. You are using the people of Kashmir and those who travel from Azad Kashmir. Self-determination has been blessed by 194 countries. A DSP cannot undo it. Anybody, if he has a good cordial relation with an SP or a DSP here or there, should be put on notice that no, there are 194 countries committed to the cause of Kashmir. If Pakistan does not support us, we will go universal. We will seek support from 193 countries. But if Pakistan supports, well and good. First support that Pakistan can render is to make the constitution of Azad Kashmir honorably as it is. The government of Azad Kashmir should act in accordance with the constitution. Government of Pakistan should respect the constitution of Azad Kashmir, do away with the constitutional restraints which force people to do otherwise, and Pakistan should also respect its own constitution. That's 257. If somebody wants to join Pakistan, let him join, but let him join in accordance with the constitution of Pakistan. You should not make life hell for people. You should make life livable. In Azad Kashmir, there is a process of life, but we want a quality of life. Azad Kashmiri people are just voter citizens. They are not vigilant citizens. They have no role in government. Even if you lose election, there are mechanics in Islamabad and Muzaffarabad, they bring you back. They co-opt you. Then what is the use of undertaking elections? If I lose election, and since I am a favorite and in the Green Book, then you say no, he should be co-opted as a technocrat, as a alim, or there are 5 women positions. And since Dr. Punjabi is here, Dr. there is one important article. The Valley people are blackmailing Pakistan, and Azad Kashmir people as well. Article 5 of the Constitution of Pakistan says obedience to state, constitutional rule of law. For the citizen of Pakistan and for the resident of Pakistan. Even if you go to Pakistan as an Indian citizen or a Kashmiri state subject, you have to be governed by Article 5. You don't need to say Kashmir banega Pakistan. When the constitution lays out a boundary for a Pakistani and a non-Pakistani as well to be obedient to the state constitutional rule of law, why should Sardar Qayyum cry Kashmir banega Pakistan? There is no room for me in Islamabad to work against Pakistan because the constitution would not allow me. I will be at war with the constitution of Pakistan. So friends of Pakistan should also revisit the wisdom of constitution and understand that Sardar Qayyum could not make it Pakistan for the last 65 years. Even Musharraf told Hurriyat that India will not vacate Kashmir, do something. So ultimately, since I'm a state subject, and so are all of us, it was my duty to make these fundamentals very obvious that if the government of Pakistan supports the right of self-determination, they should support Mumtaz as well, they should support Singh as well, and Khan. But if they have a selectivity, a process of accreditation, we will challenge them here. Self-determination is not for Wani and for Ishtiyaq. It is for Nazir Gillani as a state for Dr. Punjabi. They have to respect. It may mean anything, self-determination. But the budget that government of Pakistan is spending on Azad Kashmir, on any individual, in Congress, in House of Parliament, if we are Kashmiri FBIs, we will also take stock of the situation gradually. We will defend our friends to the point that they are state subjects, but we will not defend to the point that they have not interpreted the jurisprudence of Kashmir in accordance with the best interests of the people of Kashmir. So anybody who travels from Islamabad, from Srinagar, from Delhi, has to take stock of this situation, that the litmus test is how best he remains on the right side of the people of Kashmir. India is a sovereign state, Pakistan is a sovereign state. They have their own involvement. But if they support self-determination, they have to differentiate sovereign interest and self-determination. Pakistan is caught in a mess. They do not know what is juridical position of the government of Azad Kashmir. De jure is one thing, de facto. How long? You know, now the world is so powerful that they descend and they ascend, and you still sleep. The Americans are so powerful, they descend and they ascend. They have their boots on the ground, then they become aerial again. So you cannot fool, you may fool Somalia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, but I tell you one thing, that we will be now asking the OIC as well to make its position very clear. How far are they supporting government of Pakistan, their sovereign interest, and how far they are supporting right of self-determination? They have to differentiate between the two. Because if the money comes for self-determination, it should go in equity to every individual in Kashmir. But we will ask Pakistan as well, how much do you support your own interest? How much do you support the right of self-determination? We should know. And for that, I hope that you will all revisit your own conscience and the call of your conscience as Kashmiris. And the Kashmiri does not mean one who speaks the language, but anyone who is governed by the law of 20th of April 1927 is a Kashmiri, whether he lives in Gilgit, in Washington, in Saudi, because at the end of the day, we have to return to Kashmir in safety and in dignity. I thank you, Chairman. I may have overstepped my time, but that is the privilege of the first speaker and the state subject as well. But I would once again say that I mean that it is our moral obligation to at least, like Copernicus said, that the earth still moves around the sun, even if you have to be beheaded, but even if you lose the salary, monthly salary. We all have something back home. Islamabad or Delhi cannot sustain us. What will sustain us is our conscience and our status as state subjects. Thank you very much.